AITAH for telling my girlfriend to grow up and saying she needs therapy. I think the exact moment everything between us started to crack was the night she woke me up at 3:17 a.m. by standing over me in the dark crying, shaking, and whispering my name like she was afraid I'd disappear. But that wasn't the part that terrified me. The terrifying part was that she didn't seem to know why she was crying. Her eyes were wide and focused, almost glassy. When I reached out to touch her arm, she flinched as if I'd burned her. "Leela," I said softly, "what's wrong?" She shook her head violently. "I don't know," she whispered. "I don't know. I don't know." Over and over, like a broken record. That was the night I realized something was happening inside her mind, something deeper than stress, deeper than fear, something she didn't understand and refused to admit. And that was the night I made a mistake I'm still paying for. The story: Leela and I had been dating for 16 months, long enough to know her favorite tea peppermint, her biggest fear abandonment, and the way she hated thunderstorms because they reminded her of nights she refused to talk about. She wasn't a bad person, far from it. She was creative, brilliant, funny in this unintentional, chaotic way. But she had episodes, sudden emotional crashes, random panic spirals, silent days where she wouldn't speak and refused to explain, nights where she'd cling to me like she thought I'd vanish if she blinked. The 3:17 a.m. incident wasn't the first, but it was the first time I got scared. Not, oh no, she's upset, scared. Scared for her, and scared of what I couldn't fix. The build-up over the next few weeks, things escalated. One evening I came home to find all the kitchen cabinets open and her sitting on the floor, hugging her knees, staring into nothing. "Leela?" I asked gently. She didn't respond, not even when I knelt beside her. After 10 minutes, she blinked and whispered, "I didn't mean to." "To what?" "To be like this." Another time, she locked herself in the bathroom for almost an hour. When she came out, her eyes were red and she muttered, "Don't ask," before going straight to bed. And then there were the fights. Small things triggered huge reactions. I forgot to text her during a meeting. She cried for an hour. I joked that she was dramatic. She didn't talk to me for 2 days. I said I was tired. One evening she accused me of being bored of her. I started walking on eggshells around my own girlfriend. The breaking point, the argument that ended everything, happened on a Wednesday night. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted, my brain fried. She was sitting on the couch, arms crossed, jaw tight. "You didn't answer my message," she said. "I was in a meeting," I replied, dropping my bag. "You could have stepped out." "No, Leela, I actually couldn't. So your job matters more than I do." I felt something inside me snap, not anger, not cruelty, just collapse. "Leela," I said, rubbing my temples, "this needs to stop." She stood up. "What needs to stop?" "This." I gestured vaguely at her, at the room, at the tension filling the air. These meltdowns over everything. The crying for no reason. The panic. The episodes. She stared at me, shock widening her eyes. "You think I do it on purpose?" she whispered. "I think you need help." The words slipped out before I could soften them. "Real help? From a therapist?" Her lips trembled. "That's what you think of me." "I think," I said carefully, "that you're struggling with something bigger than us, and you need to talk to someone professional." Silence. Then she whispered, "You're telling me to grow up. I'm telling you to get help so you don't feel like this all the time. You're calling me broken." "No, God, no. You're calling me crazy." "I'm not. You're saying you don't want to deal with me anymore." The way she said it, flat, defeated, hit me like a punch. I stepped forward. "Leela, please." She backed away like I was a threat. "I knew it," she breathed. "I knew one day you'd get tired. Everyone does. Leela, you're just like the rest." Then she packed a bag in 10 minutes and left. The aftermath: for 3 days, she didn't answer my calls. On the 4th, she texted me, "You were cruel. You don't tell someone you love to grow up. You don't tell them they need therapy." I never said those exact words, but maybe I had implied them. Maybe just by expressing concern, she earned judgment. Her best friend sent me a long message saying I was emotionally abusive, condescending, insensitive. Her mother called me a disappointment. A mutual friend told me Leela hadn't gotten out of bed since she left my place. And now I'm sitting here unsure. Did I cross a line? Was I insensitive? Was I cruel for suggesting therapy? Was I wrong to say she needed to grow up emotionally? AITAH, because the truth is, I didn't say it out of anger. I said it out of fear. Fear that I was watching someone I loved fall apart piece by piece. Fear that I couldn't help her. Fear that if she didn't get real support, something worse was coming. But maybe the way I said it, or the moment I chose, or the tone, made me the bad guy anyway. So yeah, tell me. AITAH for saying the one thing she needed to hear in the one way she couldn't handle. Very long continuation. The silence after Leela left wasn't peaceful. It was sharp, ringing, suffocating. For the first time in months, my apartment felt too quiet. No soft humming from her as she drew on the couch. No tapping from her restless fingers. No sudden bursts of laughter at things she read online. Just emptiness. It felt like living inside a museum of our relationship. Every object had a memory attached to it, and every memory stabbed a little deeper. I didn't sleep. Not the first night, not the second, not the third. By day 5, I started wondering if I was the monster she said I was. The message that changed everything on the evening of the 6th day, my phone buzzed. Not a call. A single text from her mother. She isn't eating. She cries all day. She says you told her she's crazy. I sat down slowly, the world spinning around me. I hadn't said that. I hadn't even implied it. But to her mother, to her friends, to her wounded mind it was the same. Another message followed. You broke her. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. A part of me wanted to text back, I'm not the one who broke her. She was breaking long before me. But I didn't. Instead, I wrote, what can I do? Her mother responded instantly. Leave her alone. And that was it. No explanation. No nuance. Just accusation. Just exile. The spiral. I tried to move on with my week, but everything reminded me of her. At work, I stared at spreadsheets and saw her handwriting. On the train, I heard her laugh echo in the back of my mind. In the grocery store, I caught myself buying peppermint tea before stopping mid-aisle. I avoided the bedroom because the bed still carried the shape of her sleeping body. I avoided the bathroom mirror because I didn't like the way guilt had reshaped my face. I avoided my phone because every minute I didn't get a message from her felt like confirmation that I'd lost her forever. By day 10, I started rereading our old conversations, trying to find the exact moment everything started to fall apart. There wasn't one. There were 1,000 tiny ones. Her friend confronts me on day 12. Someone buzzed my apartment. I opened the door, and there stood Lila's best friend. Sharp eyes, crossed arms, battling posture. We need to talk, she said, pushing past me without waiting. I shut the door slowly. You shouldn't be here. Oh, spare me, she snapped. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to explain. I blinked. Explain? She sighed and rubbed her temples, suddenly exhausted. You're not the villain, okay? But you handled things wrong. I stared at her, stunned. And she hesitated. She's sick, Evan. More than you think. My chest tightened. What do you mean sick? She hesitated again, choosing her words carefully. She's been struggling since before you met her. Her ex hurt her badly. Her dad wasn't kind. She's been spiraling for years. But she hides it because she wants to seem strong. Pieces clicked together in my mind. The 3:17 a.m. night, the panic episodes, the shutdowns, the intensity, the fear. She says you're done with her, Mara continued. And that broke her. And she won't get help because she thinks therapy means she's defective. A deep ache spread through my ribs. I just wanted to help her, I whispered. I know. But telling her to grow up, she heard that as abandonment. I said it because I was desperate. I didn't know what else to do. You shouldn't have said it, she replied gently. But you're not a bad person for reaching a breaking point. We stood in silence for a long moment. Then Mara took a deep breath. She asked me something today, she said quietly. She asked if you hated her. The words hit harder than any insult ever could. I don't, I said. God, I don't. I know. The question is, do you want to fix this? I hesitated, not because I didn't know the answer, but because I wasn't sure I had the right to. Yes, I said finally. If she wants me to. Mara nodded. I'll talk to her. She left without another word. The call I didn't expect. 2 days later, she called Leela. When I saw her name on the screen, I felt my throat close. I answered. Her voice was quiet, fragile, transparent. Hi, I whispered back. A pause, long, uncomfortable, charged. I'm sorry for everything, she said, for the way I acted. You don't need to apologize, I said. Yes, I do. She took a shaky breath. I wasn't fair to you, and I wasn't gentle with you, I admitted. I shouldn't have said it the way I did. You meant it, though, she said softly. I meant that you're hurting, and I can't help you alone. Silence. Then, I don't want to lose you. My chest ached. You haven't. Another pause. Then she whispered, can we talk in person? I swallowed hard. Yes. The meeting we met at the park where we had our first date. She looked smaller somehow, more tired, like a shadow of the girl I used to know. We walked slowly, silently, until we reached a bench. She sat first. I sat a careful distance beside her. I talked to Mara, she said. She told me what you said. What did she say? That you're scared for me. Not of me. For me. I whispered. I thought you were rejecting me, she said softly. But you were trying to help. In not rejecting you, I said. I'm trying to hold on to you. Tears filled her eyes. I want help, she whispered. I stared at her in disbelief. I want to try therapy, she said, voice breaking. Not because I'm broken, but because I don't want to be this version of myself anymore. I reached out and gently took her hand. That's all I ever wanted, I said. For you to feel safe inside your own mind. She leaned into me, trembling. I'm scared, she admitted. I know, I said, but they'll be here, not to fix you, just to support you. She nodded slowly. Then she whispered, can we try again? I exhaled shakily. Yes, I said, we can try. The realization that night, lying beside her again, I realized something important. I wasn't the villain, and she wasn't either. We were two people colliding with our fears, our limits, our pasts. Two people trying to figure out how to love each other without drowning in old wounds. I didn't tell her to grow up because I hated her. I said it because I couldn't watch her collapse anymore without reaching out. And she didn't break down because she wanted to control me. She broke down because she was carrying a world of pain alone. Maybe love isn't about being perfect. Maybe it's about learning when to hold on, when to step back, and when to ask for help together. And maybe, just maybe, we weren't done yet, not even close. Ending, I didn't sleep that night. I lay on my side of the bed, staring at the faint outline of the curtains, replaying every word I had thrown at Emily. Grow up, get help. Words that had come out sharp, unforgiving, soaked in my exhaustion rather than compassion. I didn't regret the message, but God, I regretted the delivery. The door opened quietly around 6 in the morning. I heard her before I saw her, small steps, hesitant. I sat up. She stood in the doorway, hair messy, eyes puffy, sleeves pulled over her hands like a child clinging to a blanket. For a long moment, she just looked at me, and I had no idea what her verdict would be. I thought about everything you said, she whispered. Her voice felt like glass, fragile, still cracking. I'm not angry, she added. I'm embarrassed and scared. It was the first time she had admitted fear without spiraling. I nodded slowly, not trusting myself to speak. She walked over and sat at the edge of the bed, fingers twisting in the hem of her sweater. You're right, she continued. I need help. Real help, not just crying until I'm numb, not just venting to you until you collapse from carrying everything alone. I should have talked to someone months ago. The relief hit me so hard it was almost painful. I made an appointment, she said, pulling her phone from her sleeve. A therapist. The earliest date was next week. I hope that's good enough. I breathed, scooting closer. It is. It really is. But she wasn't finished. I'm sorry, she said, finally looking at me. Not for being overwhelmed. I can't always control that. But for making you feel like you were the only thing holding me together. That's not fair. To either of us. I wrapped my arms around her. She melted into me, trembling, but not in the chaotic way she had before. This was different. It was a release, not a collapse. We stayed like that for a long time. When she eventually pulled away, her face was calmer, clearer. I want to learn how to handle my emotions, she said. I don't want to be ruled by them, and I don't want you to walk on eggshells around me. I want us to be a team, not, she gestured vaguely. Whatever we were last night. We are a team, I said. We just got lost. She nodded, then hesitated, her voice dropping. But you have to promise me something too. Anything. Her eyes searched mine, serious, steady. Promise you won't hold everything inside until you snap. I'd rather hear something difficult gently than hear nothing until you explode. That one stung. Because she was right. I promise, I said, and I meant it. 2 weeks later, Emily came home from her second therapy session with a small smile. The soft kind she rarely showed. It's helping, she said. I didn't cry once this week. I felt the panic coming, but I stopped it before it controlled me. I hugged her, proud in a way I hadn't expected. We weren't perfect. She still had bad days. I still caught myself bracing for emotional storms that never came. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, we were rebuilding something healthier, stronger. She started journaling, setting boundaries, untangling her triggers instead of letting them choke her. I started voicing concerns before they reached boiling point. We both started understanding ourselves better. and each other. And one evening, as we cooked dinner together, she glanced over and said, "I'm really glad you told me the truth, even if it hurt, even if I cried. You didn't say it to be cruel. You said it because you cared and didn't know how else to help." I touched her cheek gently. "I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted you to see what I saw. That you didn't deserve to live trapped in your own fear." "I'm starting to believe that," she whispered. "Final verdict, AITAH? Maybe my delivery wasn't perfect. Maybe I should have chosen kinder words, softer phrasing. But in the end, Emily got the help she needed. We learned to communicate